in Mexico. We're actually driving up this week, so we're going to be crossing the border in like a few days, which is crazy because we're just hoping that the weather is going to get better. Bye.
Bye.
They were actually leaving to start making our way up the peninsula, headed north. Why is it so blurry? It's so weird. And we just stopped at the gas station, which was like our first stop of the day. Nick and I didn't have to get gas. For anyone who doesn't know, Mexican pesos are usually much like higher numbers. Like 200 pesos is 10 US dollars. So we're pretty used to seeing things cost like in the thousands. Usually when we're filling up gas, it costs like about like 1,500 pesos. But Cam and Ty just filled up gas and it was 1,500, so they paid. And then they looked at their bank card statement and it actually said that it was $1,500 USD, which is not what it should say. So we started driving away from the gas station and they're like calling their bank and whatever, and then we start to lose service. So now we are just on the side of the road waiting for them to hopefully sort that out. We obviously don't want to get too far away from the gas station and then find out that, you know, whatever, you have to go back and sort it out. So I'm just gonna make some quick sandwiches because I haven't made any food yet this morning. Nick and I got frappes from a cafe, and now while we are pulled over on the side of the road, we may as well just make use of our time. So I'm gonna make some sandwiches for the drive, and hopefully Cam and Ty get their money back or get it sorted out, or hopefully it's just wrong or something, I don't know. But we'll keep you posted on that. Okay, wait, never mind. I started making the sandwiches and now everybody's ready to get back on the road. I guess everything's okay. We'll figure out what's happening later. So this is like the best vegan cheese ever, and I've only ever found it in Mexico, so I'm gonna miss this.
We didn't fill up our gas tank before we left. We were like, only had like 1/8 of a tank gone. So we're just filling up now. Driven for, I don't know, what would you say, a couple hours, few hours? 2.5 maybe. It's at a 1/4 tank now, or a little above it. So we're just gonna stop here just to be safe. This should take us the rest of the way to the Bay of Conception. And thankfully we're getting our windows cleaned as well. The amount of shit that was on our windows is ridiculous. So hopefully they clean these ones and maybe our mirrors as well. I mean, I also wouldn't mind doing it, but I think it's just something they do here.
So that gas fill up was 1,602 pesos.
Not dollars.
This is how it normally comes out, so that's why you would think that this is just normal. Anyways, Cam and Ty called their bank, and their bank said it was like fine. Not exactly sure what happened, but be sure that you're checking. That's not US dollars when you're filling up. That is something we're learning in the last few days of our trip that we didn't know before. So yeah, luckily it happened to them and not us, not because I want bad things to happen to them, but because I just wouldn't have checked my phone. So I wouldn't have caught it. Anyways, we are continuing our drive now. It is so beautiful. This is like some of the most beautiful stretch of road that we've ever been on. And it's making me feel like really nostalgic about leaving Baja in general. I know we still have like the next week or whatever, but it does make me really nostalgic because this was my ultimate dream when we were thinking of doing van life. I always wanted to come to Mexico, and now like we've done it, and yeah, it's really interesting to process. But here, let me show you what we're looking at. So we are approaching a military checkpoint, the first one that we are going to on our way up. There's someone sitting right there, so I'm going to show up the camera.
English. Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
sí. No. No dog.
Sorry, it's messy.
Okay, gracias.
Adios.
For those who don't know or who didn't watch our video coming down the Baja Peninsula a couple months ago, or any of those videos, So there are like a number of military checkpoints crossing from Baja Norte to Baja Sur, and in Baja Sur, like the bottom of Baja, there's none at all. And so that was the last one when we were coming down. So our first one coming up, and it was really easy. They just said, where are you coming from? We told them that we're coming from La Paz and where we're going to go stay tonight. First military checkpoint was a success. Here we go to our campsite. Okay, so we finally found our camp spot, and it's time to change from this into this. So we woke up at sunrise this morning, which was like it started around, I mean, it's still going. The really beautiful colors were around, I think, like 6:20 or 6:30. And we just opened our back doors and we're kind of looking at it, but we were just lazy to get out of bed. But now we decided to go outside. It's so quiet here and so nice. We're getting some like pretty gray and rainy weather in Baja, just, you know, in the last few weeks. And now finally the sun has come out for, hopefully it stays up for our last week, and this is just absolutely spectacular. So it turns out that what happened to our friends Cam and Ty is actually a pretty common scam down here in Mexico. So now that we know the whole scope of the story, here's what happened. So when they pulled up to the gas station, of course so many of these things are going to be red flags in retrospect because hindsight is 2020. The man immediately asked if they were going to be paying on their credit card. And because it's the end of our trip and we're kind of low on our pesos now, we're just trying to get rid of all of our pesos, they didn't have enough pesos to pay for the gas in cash. So they were going to pay on credit. Anyways, they fill up the tank. The man passes them the machine, they pay for it in the machine, and then just a couple seconds later, the guy says, oh, the transaction didn't go through. He goes and pretends to check some things, and then he says, yeah, all of our machines are down. Do you guys have any cash? So they end up paying cash and start to wrap things up. Luckily, Cam has on her phone, anytime she makes a credit card purchase, she gets a notification on her phone. So she immediately saw that there was a charge on her credit card for whatever, $1,200 or $1,300 USD. So I guess they did call him out on it because they said, well, it did go through and then we just paid you cash. And he was like, no, that's not from here. And he shows on it, because it doesn't say like the Pemex, the gas station, it says Hotel Cabo or something like that. And he's like, that's from a hotel. It's not from the gas station. Of course, in retrospect, this all makes sense. But in the moment, you know, like you don't always know what's going on. So they immediately called their bank and flagged it as fraud. And their bank said that they'd be refunded in the next 60 days. So when we looked it up on TripAdvisor, this is actually a pretty common scam here in Mexico, especially from the sounds of TripAdvisor at Pemex gas stations. So just beware, pay with cash if you can. We don't. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't have noticed if that had gone through my credit card. I check my credit card to pay it off at the end of every like week or 2 weeks. So, and I just like kind of scan through. I mean, I probably would have noticed a charge for $1,500, but still, beware.
So we're gonna follow them into town because they're gonna grab water. Okay. So I figured we'll grab water as well, and then we can also stop at the gas station. Then we're like half tanks, so we don't need to fill up, but might as well. Yeah. And then Cam will send the pin to the dunes. Nice.
Good. So we are just moments away from hitting, I guess, the most strict military checkpoint here in Baja coming up north. Heard some crazy stories about this checkpoint. So it's just coming up here in 100 meters. I guess we'll put the camera away and hopefully all is well.
Maybe we'll get lucky, they'll just flag us right through.
Maybe. This is what Nick does after a long day of driving.
Relax.
What you playing, babes?
The same game I always play. NHL.
Tough life, eh?
Yeah, I think life's pretty hard, especially for like me. Got pretty bad.
Been watching the whole Baja series. You would recognize this spot. This is actually where Nick had his birthday in November. So November 19th was the last time that we were here. We are in these beautiful sand dunes right here in Guerrero Negro. And it's feeling a little bit chilly, I have to be honest. It's probably not. This weather would probably be considered great to most, but because we've been so blessed with that Baja Sur sun, it's feeling a little colder and colder as we move further north, I have to be honest. But yeah, we are here at these beautiful sand dunes. We're with Cam and Ty, our friends Mo and Zane, and then of course our ambulance is right in the middle. And it feels weird because it feels like we were just here yesterday, but simultaneously so long ago. Anyways, we are hungry, so I'm gonna make some food. Let's go back into the van. We have all these random ingredients, and I mean, it's all mostly like Mexican stuff, like Mexican cuisine. But like we have these refried beans, silken tofu, we have avocados, tomato, onion. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna make like a 7-layer dip kind of thing. Look who's coming in. Hi, Tags! This is Mo and Zane's dog, if you haven't met him yet. But Dagger and I are gonna make some food, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty hungry. Hey, out of there! You know you're not supposed to go in there. So I'm just heating up the refried beans, and then for like a sour cream like thing, I'm gonna use this silken tofu and put it in the food processor with apple cider vinegar. Usually I'd want to use something like lemon juice or something, and then a little bit of nutritional yeast. I think that's it. But yeah, and then I'm just gonna put it in the food processor and make like a kind of tofu sour cream like dip. So now I'm gonna whip up a quick guacamole, and then also I have some canned corn and this Herda's salsa. Just gonna cook up some soy chorizo to put on top. This is gonna be so good, I feel like. Finally, we're at our last step, which is gonna be shredded cheese. I'm dreading getting out of bed this morning. It's so cold. Call me a baby. Call me the worst Canadian ever. Get out of the blanket. It's so cold. What does the temperature say?
16.
16 degrees?
Yeah, Celsius.
Oh my god.
Not that bad, eh?
I'm not equipped for this. I'm not equipped for this type of weather.
So I've got my map set to San Felipe. I figured that's where we were staying the night tonight, but after we fell asleep, everyone was texting, and we're actually gonna cross the border today. So we're gonna stop in San Felipe because we're gonna be there around 12:30 PST, and the busiest times at the border are between 11 and 4 p.m. or 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. So we're going to stop in San Felipe, make some lunch, chill for a bit, and then I think around 4 we're probably gonna hit the border. And once we cross, we're just gonna stay the night in El Centro. So that's the plan so far. We'll see.
Plans change.
But plans change. We'll see how this goes. Didn't really anticipate crossing the border this soon, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think we'll be fine. We've also changed our own personal plans around. So we will be stopping in America, at least at one spot.
I have to put the camera down because this is gonna rattle all around. See you guys in a sec. They like really searched our van.
Harder than the last one?
Yeah, they were like putting their hands like underneath our mattress and like feeling all around, going through all this stuff.
We are about halfway between Guerrero Negro and San Felipe. We have like half a tank of gas, but I figured might as well just fill up anyways, just for the fun of it. Eh? See?
Gasoline.
Yeah, gasolina. See? I didn't realize that today was gonna be our last day in Mexico. Crazy. But that's okay.
So we're about to cross the border here, and we are coming out for our last taco. And I was like, I wonder if we have enough change because we're like running out of pesos, right? And so we're trying to use the rest of our pesos. And I was like, I wonder if we have enough change to buy me a beer. So this is the beer fund.
Only in my
40, 45, 50, 55.
And a beer's only 50 pesos, so it looks like we have a few beers here. Better start.
Thanks. Hey. That's good stuff.
What do you think, buddy?
So as we get closer to the border here, the roads are a lot more rough and there's way more people. The traffic is like kind of chaotic and absolutely crazy. We should be approaching in the next like 15 minutes here, and then we'll see how long we actually have to wait in the line before we cross, you know, the controlled border. So we have our passports here and our FMM tourist visa cards, which is like basically when you come into Mexico, if you're Canadian or American, you get 180 days visa free, but you still have to like pay for your entry. And then if you were to cross, not back up into the US, but like if you were to cross into like Guatemala or another country, then you would have to show the tourist card. And if you don't get your tourist card, then you have to pay when you're leaving the US.
First of all, Google Maps always wants to take you down the Sentry lane, which is like the express lane. Do not go down that lane. However, when you're sitting here next to this stupid fucking wall, you have a whole bunch of people basically just trying to sell stuff, whether that be washing your car windows, snacks, chocolate bars. I've seen people selling like big giant crosses. So people are all trying to sell like whatever they can. We've heard that Tijuana is even crazier. It's just like both sides, like crazy amount of people. But yeah, I mean, it's just how it is. It's just set up in like the middle of like the borderline. And they just sell anything. After the first, like I'm assuming you'll go through first. Once you're through, Ty, are you just gonna go straight to the Walmart? Like, I guess there's not really anywhere to pull over.
Yeah, there won't be really anywhere to pull over, so we'll just all meet at the Walmart.
Boogie.
I actually think that like because we didn't know that we were gonna be crossing today, it's kind of helped with my nerves a little bit, because like normally when we're crossing any border ever, I just get a little bit nervous. Again, not for any specific reason, like obviously we're fine, but it's just freaky. And we're so used to the military checkpoints at this point, right? So maybe that has something to do with it too. They've trained me.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
Where you guys going?
We're heading back to BC actually.
It's a long drive.
Yeah.
It's good that you have a bed inside an ambulance, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it unlocked?
Yeah.
Are you bringing anything today, like eggs, meats, cheeses, milks? I would say Godspeed, but you're going on I-5.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Bye. Okay. And like we pull up and he looks at us, he kind of like does a double take. He's like, do you know those guys up there? And we're like, yeah, they're our friends. He's like, Anyways, we're in America. My honest feelings, not that pumped about it, but you know, like we always do look forward to the next chapter for sure. I mean, there are going to be beautiful things ahead of us. It's just that Mexico was such a dream come true. Baja in our van was just like the perfect place. I was really sad the other day when we were talking about leaving, but you know, I'm at peace with it now, and yeah, we're back in America.
First stop in America, obviously Walmart. Then McDonald's.
But how it comes with so many?
6.
That's so many. So we made it. And our first meal back in the States is gonna be spaghetti.
Just finished the latest Yes Theory video. And now, good night.